Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are one of the most talked about couples in the world right now, and the latest comments from Travis's mom, Donna Kelce, have just turned the spotlight in a whole new direction. The question fans can't stop asking, are Taylor and Travis ready for kids? And how serious is Donna about seeing her son and future daughter-in-law start a family soon? On the Kelce Brothers podcast, New Heights, Jason Kelce let it slip that their mom, Donna, has been dropping hints. Actually, more than hints about grandchildren. Jason joked that Donna once always had Travis as her favorite son, but these days, because Jason has given her multiple grandkids, he's back in the #1 spot. That playful comment opened the door for something bigger. Jason admitted that their mom has in fact put some real pressure on Travis about having kids with Taylor Swift. Now, for anyone who's followed Donna Kelce, this is no surprise. She's America's football mom. Warm, outspoken, and deeply family-oriented. She raised two NFL legends, Jason and Travis, who ended up facing each other in the Super Bowl. Donna became a household name during that time, sitting in the stands wearing a half Chiefs, half Eagles jersey, cheering for both her sons. For her, family is everything. And the idea of seeing her family grow with even more grandchildren, that's her dream. Jason and his wife Kylie already have a beautiful family, 4 children. Little Wyatt, Elliot, Bennett, and baby Finley have already made Donna a very proud grandmother. That's part of why Donna's so openly nudging Travis. She sees her younger son in love, engaged to one of the most famous women in the world, and naturally the thought of more grandchildren feels like the next step. But what about Taylor Swift? The pop icon has had a complicated relationship with the idea of family life. In her younger years, Taylor talked about wanting a big family, even mentioning she imagined herself with 4 kids. But as her fame skyrocketed, she became more cautious, noting that bringing children into a world where every move is watched by cameras could be overwhelming. That's the struggle, balancing a private family life with a career that thrives in the public eye. And right now, Taylor is at the peak of her career once again. Fresh off her billion-dollar Eras tour and with her 12th studio album making waves, she's in a professional era that demands constant focus. Every performance, every release, every public appearance is part of a carefully constructed global empire. Adding children into that schedule, it would change everything. For Travis, the perspective is different, but equally complex. At 35, he's achieved nearly everything he could dream of in the NFL. 3-time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and now engaged to the biggest pop star on the planet. He's often been open about how much he loves being an uncle to Jason's kids. Fans have seen countless clips of Travis being playful, goofy, and protective with his nieces. It's clear that fatherhood is something he's thought about, but the timeline, that's less certain. What Donna's comments have done is shine a light on a very human side of this glamorous love story. Parents everywhere can relate. When your children get engaged, when they found the love of their life, naturally thoughts turn to grandchildren. But when your son is an NFL superstar and your future daughter-in-law is Taylor Swift, that personal family wish becomes a global headline. Fans are split in their reactions. Some are thrilled, saying they can't wait to see Taylor and Travis as parents. They point to the couple's warmth, their shared values, and the way they've supported each other's careers as signs they'd make incredible parents. Others, especially Swifties, are more cautious. They argue that Taylor deserves to enjoy her engagement and marriage before feeling pressured into motherhood, especially when she's at such a high point in her career. It also raises a bigger question. How do celebrity couples handle this kind of family pressure when the world is watching? History shows us that public interest in celebrity families is nothing new. From the royal family to Hollywood power couples like Beyoncé and Jay-Z, the moment a star gets married, speculation about children immediately follows. For Taylor and Travis, that speculation is magnified tenfold. If we look ahead, there are a few possible scenarios. One is that Taylor and Travis choose to wait, focusing on their wedding, their careers, and enjoying time together as a newly engaged couple. Another is that they decide not to wait at all, giving Donna exactly what she's hoping for. And, of course, it's entirely possible they take a middle path, keeping fans guessing while they quietly plan for the future on their own terms. No matter what, the Kelce-Swift love story has captivated millions. It's not just about sports and music, it's about two worlds colliding, two massive fan bases uniting, and a romance that feels larger than life. And now, with Donna Kelce's comments, we're reminded that beneath all the fame and headlines, this is still a family story. A mom who loves her sons, a woman excited to see her family grow, and a young couple figuring out their future under the brightest of spotlights. The truth is, only Taylor and Travis know when or if they'll be ready to take that next step. But one thing's for sure, Donna Kelce will be cheering them on just as loudly as she did in the Super Bowl stands. So, what do you think? Are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce ready for kids? Or is Donna Kelce just dreaming a little too loudly? One thing is certain, the world will be watching every step of the way. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Aaron Bates's husband, Chad Payne, has opened up in one of the most emotional and heartbreaking updates yet, sharing details of his wife's ongoing health battle that has left fans, friends, and even doctors shaken. Aaron, best known for her role on the reality series Bringing Up Bates, has been facing a health crisis since the birth of her seventh child, Henry Blythe, just weeks ago. What should have been one of the happiest moments in their lives has instead turned into a season of deep uncertainty and emotional struggle. And now, Chad is pulling back the curtain on just how difficult the journey has been. In his update, Chad admitted that Aaron still cannot use her right leg, and the most concerning part is that doctors remain completely baffled. They don't have an explanation. They don't have an answer. For a family that has always leaned on faith and optimism, this moment has been described as one of the darkest valleys they've ever walked through. Chad revealed that the past 3 weeks have felt like a whirlwind, filled with fear, confusion, and desperate prayers. He described nights spent by Aaron's side in the hospital, holding her hand and hoping that the next test, the next scan, or the next round of treatments would bring some kind of clarity, some sign of improvement. But instead, the silence of the unknown has weighed heavy on their hearts. For context, Aaron's health complications began shortly after delivering baby Henry on August 25th. What began as a seemingly routine postpartum recovery quickly spiraled into a life-threatening ordeal. Aaron developed a severe urinary tract infection, which progressed into a kidney infection and then escalated into septic shock, a condition where the body's response to infection causes organs to shut down. On top of that, she suffered a prolonged and frightening seizure, leaving her medical team scrambling to stabilize her condition. Aaron was placed in intensive care while baby Henry spent more than 2 weeks in the neonatal unit. For weeks, Chad juggled the impossible, supporting his wife, caring for his newborn in critical care, and trying to remain strong for their other 6 children at home. The family's faith has always been central to their story, and even in the midst of this storm, Chad spoke about how they've clung to prayer. He said that they've felt the support of thousands of people lifting Aaron up in prayer, and he credited those prayers with giving them the strength to keep going. Still, his voice cracked as he admitted the truth. There are no clear answers yet. Aaron has not regained the ability to use her right leg, and while doctors remain hopeful, the mystery surrounding her condition has left the family unsettled. For viewers and fans, it's difficult to comprehend how someone who has always been so vibrant, full of life, and surrounded by family could suddenly find herself in such a fragile state. Chad shared that watching Aaron in pain has been one of the most devastating experiences of his life. In one of the most poignant updates, he recalled a moment when their young daughter, Brooklyn, wrote a letter to her mom. In the letter, the little girl told Aaron how much she loved her, how she was praying for her, and how she knew her mom loved her back. Chad read those words aloud while Aaron lay in her hospital bed, tears streaming down her face. A moment that reminded everyone just how deeply this crisis has impacted the family. He confessed that seeing his wife's spirit remain strong, even while her body has been weakened, has been both heartbreaking and inspiring. Erin has continued to sing and worship through her pain, a testament to her resilience and her faith, even when her future feels uncertain. Fans have been flooding the family's social media with messages of love, support, and prayers. Some have shared their own stories of unexplained illnesses and medical mysteries, expressing empathy for the Payne family's frustration. Others have speculated about possible causes for Erin's condition. Could it be nerve damage from childbirth, a stroke, a rare autoimmune reaction? Some have pointed out Erin's history of blood clotting complications and miscarriages, suggesting that this could play a role. While the family hasn't confirmed any diagnosis, the speculation highlights just how baffling this case has become. Erin's return home earlier this month was a milestone, but not the kind of joyful homecoming most new mothers experience. Instead of carrying her newborn in her arms and embracing a season of bonding, she came home still battling weakness, still unable to walk on her own, and still facing an uphill climb toward recovery. Yet, Erin and Chad made it clear that they are choosing gratitude. Erin posted that while they don't have all the answers yet, she is thankful simply to be back with her family, to hold her baby, and to be surrounded by the people she loves. For the Paynes, gratitude has become their anchor, even in uncertainty. The story of Erin Bates Payne is not just one of illness. It's a story of resilience, faith, and community. Erin, who has always been known as a joyful and nurturing presence, is now in a position where she must accept help, lean on others, and fight through pain and mystery. Her husband's emotional updates have given fans a raw, unfiltered glimpse into the reality of living through a medical crisis that has no clear path forward. Chad has admitted that at times he has felt broken, overwhelmed, and unsure of how to navigate this season, but he continues to put his trust in faith, in family, and in the hope that healing will come. For longtime fans of Bringing Up Bates, this story is especially gut-wrenching. Erin, who has always been portrayed as one of the most gentle and strong-willed members of the family, a devoted mother who has embraced the challenges of raising a large family with grace, to see her sidelined in this way, unable to walk and uncertain about the future, is a reminder that no one, not even those who seem larger than life on reality television, is immune to the fragility of health. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks stretch into months, all eyes remain on the Paynes. Will Erin regain the use of her leg? Will doctors ever find the cause of her mysterious symptoms? Can this young family of 9 settle into a new normal, or will their lives continue to be defined by uncertainty? These are the questions that linger, and for now, the answers remain just out of reach. But one thing is certain: Erin's story has touched thousands of people, many of whom see in her the reflection of their own battles, their own unanswered medical questions, their own moments of weakness and strength. And in that way, her struggle has become something larger than herself. It has become a testimony of perseverance. The journey is far from over, and the Payne family knows that the road ahead may be long. But Chad has promised to keep sharing updates, to keep letting the world into their story, and to keep holding on to hope. For now, the family asks for one thing above all: continued prayer, continued love, and continued support as Erin fights to heal. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Rihanna has done it again. The global superstar has just welcomed her third child with A$AP Rocky, and this time it's a baby girl. Yes, the couple's family has officially grown, and the world is buzzing with excitement, curiosity, and joy. The little princess is named Rocky Irish Mayers, born on September 13th, 2025, and she now joins her 2 older brothers, Reza, born in 2022, and Riot, born in 2023. 3 children in just a few years, and Rihanna is showing the world that she can balance motherhood, music, fashion, and her empire, all while staying true to herself. What makes this moment even more special is that Rocky is Rihanna's first daughter. For fans, that's a huge deal. We've seen Rihanna reinvent beauty standards, redefine fashion, and dominate music. But now the question everyone is asking is, what will her daughter inherit?
Will she take after her mother's fierce independence and eye for style, or her father's passion for music and artistry? Already, the symbolic choice of the name Rocky Irish Mayors is sparking discussions. Rihanna and Rocky have kept up their tradition of giving their children names starting with the letter R, and this has now become part of their family identity. First Riza, then Riot, and now Rocky. Fans are convinced the R legacy is intentional, and perhaps even a subtle nod to Rihanna herself. Rihanna first revealed this pregnancy back in May 2025 at the Met Gala, a glamorous night where she stepped onto the carpet with her growing baby bump. As usual, she did it in her own way, bold, unapologetic, and headline-grabbing. Rocky, who co-chaired the event that night, confirmed with a smile that yes, baby number 3 was on the way. Fans instantly went into a frenzy. Social media exploded with hashtags, fashion critiques, and heartfelt congratulations. It was one of those iconic celebrity moments where pop culture and personal life blend seamlessly into something unforgettable. Now, fast forward just a few months, and the news of Rocky's birth has brought waves of celebration across the globe. Rihanna announced her arrival with a series of intimate photos, one of Rocky wrapped in a soft pink blanket, another of teeny pink boxing gloves tied with ribbons. It's so Rihanna. Simple, stylish, and deeply symbolic. She's not one for over-the-top staged baby photo shoots. Instead, she gives fans just enough to feel connected while still keeping her private life protected. But this story isn't just about the new baby. It's about Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's journey as a couple and as parents. Let's rewind a little. Rihanna gave birth to her first son, Riza, in May 2022, and the name was a tribute to the Wu-Tang Clan leader, a bold, creative choice. A year later, in 2023, came Riot, and that announcement was just as dramatic. Rihanna revealed her second pregnancy in front of the entire world at the Super Bowl halftime show, pausing during her set to rub her belly and confirm what millions suspected. That moment instantly went viral, showing once again that Rihanna knows how to turn personal milestones into cultural events. When it comes to her thoughts on motherhood, Rihanna has been very open. She's described it as legendary, saying that life before kids feels almost unrecognizable now. She's admitted that the transformation is total. It changes your outlook, your priorities, and your heart. But true to her character, she's embraced it without losing her edge. Remember, she's the same woman who once said she would never shop in a boring maternity aisle, and she's proven it. Throughout her pregnancies, Rihanna has turned maternity fashion into a cultural conversation, rocking bold silhouettes, crop tops, lace, and luxury looks that shatter old-fashioned stereotypes about how pregnant women should dress. For Rihanna, every stage of life is a chance to express herself, and she's inspired millions along the way. As for A$AP Rocky, he's been just as present in this journey. He's spoken about fatherhood with deep affection, often describing his kids as his best friends. He once revealed little details that fans loved, how Riza enjoys music, books, and water, and how Riot is already full of energy and trying to imitate freestyles. Now, with baby Rocky in the mix, the dynamic is bound to shift in the sweetest way. A daughter brings a new layer of connection, and many fans are already imagining how protective Rocky will be as a father of a little girl. Of course, the couple's story hasn't been without challenges. Earlier this year, Rocky faced legal troubles in Los Angeles, including firearm-related allegations, and it became one of the most talked-about celebrity trials of 2025. But through it all, Rihanna stood firmly by his side, attending court and showing unwavering support. When Rocky was acquitted, Rihanna publicly gave thanks, writing about her gratitude to God and the relief she felt. That moment reinforced what fans already knew. This couple is rock solid, both in public and in private. Their love story, once seen as a casual fling in the eyes of gossip outlets, has transformed into a true family bond. Now, with Rocky's arrival, the couple enters yet another chapter. public reaction has been immense. Social media platforms are filled with congratulatory messages, fan edits, and speculation about what's next. Will Rihanna finally release her long-awaited album now that her family is complete? Or will she focus more on her businesses like Fenty Beauty and Savage Fenty while embracing this new phase of motherhood? Fans are divided, but one thing is clear. Whatever she chooses, she always does it on her own terms. And then there's the broader cultural impact. Rihanna is one of the most influential women in the world. Every step she takes is magnified. Every decision she makes ripples outward into fashion, music, and business. By embracing motherhood so openly, by showing that women can be mothers, moguls, and icons simultaneously, she's changing the narrative for a generation. Add to that the fact that her partner is a world-famous artist in his own right, and you have a family that feels larger than life, yet relatable at the same time. So, here's where we are. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky are now parents of 3. Their sons Riza and Riot, and their daughter Rocky. A family that has captured the hearts of millions, living their lives under the brightest of spotlights, but never letting that dim their authenticity. With Rocky's arrival, they're once again at the center of the cultural conversation. Fans will watch her grow, wonder which parent she'll resemble more, and anticipate how Rihanna will continue to balance motherhood with her career. What's undeniable is that this family is already iconic. Their love story, their resilience, their style, and now their growing legacy through their children. It all feels like a modern fairy tale, one written in real time and watched by millions across the globe. And just like that, Rihanna's life, already extraordinary, has reached yet another beautiful milestone. Stay tuned because you know there's always more to come. And with Rihanna and Rocky, every chapter is more captivating than the last. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban have officially separated after nearly 2 decades together, and Hollywood is reeling from the news. After almost 20 years of being celebrated as one of the industry's strongest couples, the curtain has finally closed on their marriage. And the story behind their split is one that blends love, heartbreak, and the unrelenting pressures of fame. The shocking revelation comes after months of speculation. Insiders had whispered that something wasn't right, but many fans dismissed the rumors, clinging to the fairy tale image of a glamorous movie star and a country music icon who seemed destined to last forever. Yet now it's confirmed. Nicole and Keith had been living apart, quietly trying to manage a separation that has been building beneath the surface for quite some time. To truly understand the magnitude of this breakup, we need to go back to where it all began. The year was 2005. Nicole Kidman, already an Academy Award-winning actress, had been through one of Hollywood's most publicized divorces with Tom Cruise. She was guarded, reserved, and uncertain whether she would ever find love again. On the other hand, Keith Urban was a rising force in country music, a man with immense talent but also struggling with personal demons, particularly his long-standing battles with addiction. The two met at a G-Day USA event in Los Angeles, a celebration of Australian talent abroad. According to those who were there, Keith was shy but deeply struck by Nicole's presence, while Nicole herself admitted later that she felt an immediate connection. Their romance blossomed quickly, and by June 2006, they were married in a grand ceremony in Sydney, Australia, surrounded by family, friends, and an adoring media. But the fairy tale was never without cracks. Just 4 months into their marriage, Keith checked himself into rehab for substance abuse. Nicole was by his side, determined to stand by the man she loved. For many, that moment defined her devotion. She could have walked away, yet she chose to fight for him and for their marriage. Keith, years later, would publicly thank her, saying her love had saved him. Their story of resilience became a Hollywood legend. For years afterward, they appeared inseparable. Red carpets, award shows, charity galas, they radiated affection. Keith often gushed about Nicole in interviews, calling her his rock and his greatest achievement, while Nicole referred to Keith as her love of the life. They welcomed 2 daughters together, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, and made Nashville their home. Unlike so many celebrity couples, they projected an image of stability, balancing Hollywood glamour with a grounded family life. But, as we've seen time and again, appearances can be deceiving. the demands of two massive careers began to pull them in different directions. Nicole's career soared with projects like Big Little Lies, The Undoing, and her consistent presence in award-winning films. Meanwhile, Keith's career as a global touring artist meant months away on the road, late nights, and the pressures of maintaining his stardom in the competitive music industry. Over the past few years, subtle signs of strain became harder to ignore. Fans noticed fewer public appearances together. Nicole began spending longer stretches overseas for film shoots, while Keith's tours kept him occupied in North America and beyond. On social media, Nicole posted fewer couple photos, though she still shared anniversary tributes and sweet messages that many assumed were proof that everything was fine. But behind the scenes, distance and tension were growing. Then came the radio interview that had fans buzzing. Keith was asked about Nicole's acting career, particularly her more intimate on-screen roles, and instead of laughing it off, he abruptly ended the call. For many, this incident revealed cracks in the facade. It was the first time the public saw that perhaps Keith wasn't entirely comfortable with Nicole's Hollywood choices, and speculation grew that this was a point of conflict between them. As the summer of 2025 unfolded, whispers turned into louder rumors. Nicole had applied for residency in Portugal, raising eyebrows when Keith's name wasn't listed on the application. While some dismissed it as a simple bureaucratic detail, others saw it as a glaring sign that she was planning a future without him. Meanwhile, Keith was increasingly absent from Nicole's side at film events and festivals. By September, the truth emerged. Nicole and Keith had been living separately for months. Nicole remained in their Nashville home with their daughters, focusing on her family while also juggling her demanding career. Keith had moved out, settling in a different residence in the same city, but noticeably absent from the family dynamic. For Nicole, the split was devastating. Those close to her say she fought to keep the marriage alive, leaning heavily on her sister and confidants for support. But Keith, according to insiders, felt the relationship had run its course. The heartbreak for Nicole is amplified by the timing. She had just wrapped filming on Practical Magic 2, a long-awaited sequel that had consumed much of her time. She was riding the high of completing a project dear to her heart when the personal blow of separation became public. For someone who has always valued family above all else, the news hit hard. Public reaction has been overwhelming. Fans flooded social media with messages of sadness and disbelief. Many expressed heartbreak at the collapse of what seemed to be one of Hollywood's rare true love stories. Others speculated about the toll of fame, wondering whether the pressures of constant travel, endless work commitments, and living life in the spotlight finally proved too much. Friends of the couple paint a complicated picture. Some say Nicole was fiercely committed to making the marriage work, even as the cracks deepened. Others claim Keith had been emotionally distant for some time and that his inner circle wasn't surprised by the separation. To them, it was not sudden, but rather inevitable. Still, for those who admired Nicole and Keith, the news feels like the end of an era. For nearly 20 years, they stood as proof that love could endure in Hollywood, a place where marriages often collapse within months. They shared children, careers, and a deep history that many thought could weather any storm. And yet, even they could not escape the reality that sometimes love, no matter how strong, isn't enough. The question now is, what comes next? For Nicole, there's no doubt she will pour herself into her children and her work. She has always been resilient, having rebuilt her life after her divorce from Tom Cruise, and she will likely do the same now. For Keith, his music may become both his outlet and his refuge, though fans will no doubt search his lyrics for clues about his heartbreak and the reasons behind this split. What remains clear is that this breakup is not just another Hollywood story. It is a reminder that even those who seem to have it all, fame, success, fortune, and love, are not immune to the struggles of ordinary relationships. Behind the glitz and glamour are real people facing real heartbreak. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's separation marks the end of a love story that once captivated the world. From their whirlwind romance to their nearly 20 years of marriage, from the battles they fought together to the struggles that ultimately pulled them apart, theirs was a journey that inspired many. And while the marriage may be over, the legacy of their love and the family they built will remain. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this one.
Ellen DeGeneres is mourning the heartbreaking loss of someone who wasn't just a fan, but became family in her eyes. Someone she once lovingly called her only boyfriend. 19-year-old Tate Anderson has passed away, leaving behind a legacy of courage, joy, and resilience that touched millions of people worldwide. His story began with extraordinary challenges from the moment he was born, and yet he became a symbol of hope, laughter, and connection, especially through his unforgettable appearances on The Ellen DeGeneres Show. Today, we'll go through his journey, Ellen's emotional tribute, and the powerful reactions that have poured in since the news broke, painting the full picture of why Tate's life meant so much to so many. Tate was born with congenital heart disease, a devastating condition that meant he entered the world already fighting for survival. From the very beginning, his life was marked by surgeries, procedures, and long hospital stays. By the time he was just 9 years old, he had endured 12 major surgeries, more than most people face in a lifetime. Yet, despite the endless medical challenges, Tate was known not just for his bravery, but for the way he carried himself. His family often said that he had a smile that could light up even the darkest days, and his sense of humor made him unforgettable. In 2013, when Tate was still a young boy, his story reached Ellen DeGeneres. His family had shared how much comfort and happiness he found in watching her show, even timing his treatments so he could sit and laugh along with her monologues and games. When he finally got the chance to meet Ellen, the moment was pure magic. He boldly declared that Ellen was his girlfriend, and Ellen, always quick with humor and heart, smiled and told him that meant he was her boyfriend. It became a running joke, but also something deeper, a bond that lasted for years. Ellen brought him back on the show multiple times, and every appearance left viewers in tears, both from laughter and from emotion. In one particularly moving moment, Tate came back after receiving his heart transplant at the age of 10 and proudly told Ellen, "I got myself a new heart." That simple declaration, filled with joy, resonated with everyone watching because it wasn't just a statement, it was a victory cry after years of fighting, and it was a reminder of the miracles that perseverance and love can bring. But Tate's health battles didn't end with his heart transplant. He later faced a post-transplant lymphoma diagnosis, another hurdle that would test his strength. Even then, he continued to fight, continued to smile, and continued to inspire. And then, at just 18 years old, he faced yet another crushing blow, a bladder cancer diagnosis. Despite chemotherapy, treatments, and endless medical appointments, the cancer spread aggressively by 2025, reaching his pelvis, spine, chest, abdomen, and neck. Doctors gave him only months to live, but Tate kept on fighting, surrounded by family, friends, and the love of supporters across the globe. In his final weeks, Tate's family documented the bittersweet moments of his life. They shared updates filled with both sorrow and gratitude. Sorrow for the limited time left, but gratitude for every second they still had with him. They described how he watched his favorite movies, listened to his favorite books, and laughed when he could. They even created handprints together, small but precious keepsakes of a boy who had already given the world so much. When his condition took a turn for the worse after an infection, his family knew the end was near. They spent his final days surrounding him with love, phone calls, and FaceTime messages from family and friends who wanted to say goodbye. And in the early morning hours of September 26th, at just 19 years old, Tate passed away peacefully with his mother and loved ones by his side. His family described it as him being released from his bodily prison, finally free from the years of pain, surgeries, and illness. Ellen DeGeneres, upon hearing the news, was visibly devastated. She took to Instagram to share a heartfelt video, her voice breaking as she spoke of her boyfriend. She recalled the moments they shared on her show, how his humor and energy brightened every room he entered, and how he always made her laugh. Ellen admitted she would miss him dearly, saying that he wasn't just a guest, he was someone who brought genuine joy into her life. She posted the video alongside the caption, "I love you, Tate. I love you, Chrissy. You touched so many lives." Her words struck a chord with millions. Fans from around the world flooded her post with condolences and tributes, sharing how they had watched Tate grow up on television, how they rooted for him during his surgeries, and how they felt personally connected to his journey. Many pointed out that Tate's story was rare, not just because of his medical challenges, but because of the extraordinary friendship he shared with Ellen. It wasn't every day that a celebrity formed such a deep and genuine connection with a fan, but Ellen and Tate had something truly unique. Even Tate's mother, Chrissy, commented on Ellen's post, thanking her for being such a light in her son's life. She said that Ellen's love and humor gave Tate strength during some of his hardest times, and she was grateful that Ellen had embraced him as family. That acknowledgement highlighted just how important Ellen's support was, not just to Tate, but to his entire family. The broader public reaction has been nothing short of overwhelming. Social media has been filled with hashtags honoring Tate, photos and videos of his appearances on Ellen's show, and messages from people who were inspired by his strength. Some called him a hero, others a warrior, and many simply said he reminded them of the importance of finding joy even in life's darkest battles. Fans have also shared their own stories of medical struggles, saying Tate gave them hope when they needed it most. As tributes continue to pour in, memorials and fundraisers are already being organized in his honor. Hart communities and cancer support groups are rallying around his story, making sure his legacy continues to inspire. His family has asked for privacy as they grieve, but they've also expressed gratitude for the immense love and support they've received from strangers and loved ones alike. They've said that while their hearts are shattered, they take comfort in knowing that Tate is finally free, no longer in pain, and forever remembered as the brave, joyful soul that he was. Looking back, Tate's journey is a testament to the power of human connection. A boy born with half a heart managed to capture the hearts of millions, not because of his illness, but because of his laughter, his bravery, and his unwavering love for life. Ellen DeGeneres, through her grief, has reminded the world that celebrities are human too, and that real relationships can form in the most unexpected ways. What started out as a fan jokingly calling Ellen his girlfriend became one of the most beautiful and emotional bonds in daytime television history, and now one of the most poignant goodbyes. Tate's story is not just about loss, it's about resilience, love, and the impact one young man can have on the world. Though he has gone far too soon, the way people are rallying to remember him shows that his life, though short, was filled with meaning. Ellen's tribute captured it perfectly. Tate brought joy, laughter, and light wherever he went. And that's how he'll be remembered.
Jimmy Kimmel has officially returned to ABC after his highly publicized suspension, and his emotional comeback has quickly become one of the most talked about moments in late-night television history. When he stepped back onto that stage, the atmosphere was electric. The audience rose to their feet, chanting his name, Jimmy, 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 in a thunderous ovation that lasted nearly 2 minutes. You could see the emotion on his face. This wasn't just a talk show comeback. This was a fight for his career, his reputation, and, as he put it, his right to speak freely. His first words back were sharp, simple, and defiant. As I was saying before I was interrupted, the crowd roared. But let's rewind for a moment. The reason Kimmel was even off the air in the first place dates back to September 15th, when he made remarks about the shocking murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. His comments, many felt, were insensitive and badly timed. Critics accused him of mocking the death itself, while supporters insisted he was actually condemning the toxic environment that fueled such violence. The reaction was swift and brutal. Political commentators, activist groups, and even members of Congress blasted Kimmel. ABC, feeling the heat, suspended his show on September 17th, pulling it from the air for what would become 6 long days of uncertainty. Behind closed doors, Disney executives debated what to do. Should they fire him? Should they demand an on-air apology? Or should they stand by their star host, a man who had built ABC's late-night identity for over 2 decades? Adding to the chaos, major broadcasting groups like Sinclair and Nexstar, which own dozens of ABC affiliate stations across the country, flat out refused to air his program unless he apologized directly to Kirk's family or made a charitable donation.
This meant that even if Disney brought Kimmel back, in many markets across America, his show simply wouldn't air. At the same time, the financial fallout was real. Disney stock dipped as hashtags like boycott Disney and cancel Kimmel trended across social media. Fans threatened to cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions. Politicians weighed in, and suddenly a late-night joke spiraled into a national conversation about free speech, corporate responsibility, and political pressure. Then came the political storm. Former President Donald Trump seized the opportunity, calling Kimmel sick and demanding ABC pull the plug permanently. On Truth Social, Trump raged that if ABC reinstated Kimmel, they would be tested like never before. On the other side, a coalition of over 400 entertainers organized through the ACLU signed a letter defending Kimmel and condemning corporate censorship. Former President Barack Obama even stepped in, warning that silencing voices, even offensive ones, sets a dangerous precedent for democracy. Meanwhile, the FCC entered the fray. Chair Brendan Carr openly criticized Kimmel's remarks and hinted that ABC's broadcasting licenses could be at risk if the network didn't act. For many, that wasn't just criticism, it was intimidation. Late-night hosts across the industry, from Stephen Colbert to Jon Stewart to Jimmy Fallon, rallied in support of Kimmel. Seth Meyers declared on his show, "If Jimmy goes, we all go," underlining how much was at stake for comedy and commentary in America. All of this built the stage for Kimmel's emotional return. On September 23rd, the cameras rolled again. He walked onto the stage, overwhelmed by the chants, visibly holding back tears. His opening line set the tone, sharp, unapologetic, but also heartfelt. He quickly addressed the elephant in the room, saying, "It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it." His voice cracked as he reminded the audience that the very day Kirk was killed, he posted a heartfelt Instagram message sending love and compassion to the family. But he also stood firm, insisting he would not apologize for criticizing the environment of extremism that can lead to such acts. What struck viewers most was his balance of vulnerability and defiance. At times, he was in tears. At other moments, he was fiery, accusing those who pressured ABC and the FCC of trying to silence him, saying, "What's un-American is censorship. What's un-American is telling comedians what they can and cannot say." He added, "This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this." That line drew another standing ovation. He took time to thank his allies, naming fellow hosts Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, Jimmy Fallon, and Seth Meyers for standing with him. And he surprised many by thanking Republican Senators Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, and Ted Cruz for supporting his right to speak, even if they disagreed with him politically. It was a moment of rare bipartisan acknowledgement, and it underlined how wide the stakes had grown. Then came the fire. Kimmel turned his attention directly to Donald Trump, accusing the former president of trying to cancel him, declaring, "He tried his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch this show." That backfired bigly. The audience erupted in laughter and applause. He didn't stop there. In a comic twist, Robert De Niro even made a surprise cameo during the episode, mocking the FCC chair and parodying the entire censorship saga, giving the night a mix of seriousness and levity that late-night television thrives on. Perhaps the most touching moment came not from Kimmel himself, but from his longtime sidekick, Guillermo. Earlier that day, Guillermo had posted a photo hugging Kimmel with the caption, "We are back, full of love." During the show, Guillermo's presence on stage brought a lightness and warmth, reminding viewers that this wasn't just a political moment, it was a reunion of friends, of entertainers, and of a team that had been through the fire together. But beyond the laughs, the tears, and the applause, Kimmel's return marked something bigger. It was a showdown between media and politics, between censorship and comedy, between corporate caution and artistic freedom. It highlighted just how fragile the line has become in American culture, where one misinterpreted remark can spark a week-long crisis, and where entertainers find themselves on the front lines of political wars. In the end, Kimmel's emotional return wasn't just about him. It was about the broader question. Do we still allow comedians to challenge, provoke, and even offend, or do we silence them when the backlash grows too loud? Kimmel stood on stage and made his answer clear. He will not be silenced. And so the story continues. Will affiliate stations hold out against airing his show? Will the FCC keep applying pressure? Will Disney face more fallout? Or will viewers rally behind Kimmel stronger than ever? One thing is certain. This late-night host, after 2 decades in television, has now become a symbol in a much larger cultural battle. So, what do you think? Was Jimmy Kimmel right to stand his ground, or should ABC have taken tougher action? Whatever your opinion, this comeback is already one of the most significant moments in late-night history, and the ripples are only beginning.
Miley Cyrus has revealed something truly special. She still owns the dress she wore on her very first date with ex-husband Liam Hemsworth. This isn't just any dress. It's part of a collection of meaningful keepsakes from her decade-long relationship, including letters and other mementos, all carefully preserved in what she calls her legacy rack. For Miley, these items aren't just fashion pieces. They're snapshots of transformative moments in her life and career. Cyrus and Liam first met back in 2009 while filming The Last Song, and the romance spanned 10 years, including an engagement in 2012, a breakup in 2013, and a heartfelt reconciliation in 2016. They married in December 2018, just after losing their Malibu home in the devastating Woolsey fire, but separated less than a year later, finalizing their divorce in early 2020. Despite the split, Miley has chosen to hold on to certain keepsakes, showing that some memories are too precious to let go. The first date dress, in particular, represents more than just a moment in time. It symbolizes personal growth, reflection, and the emotional journey Miley has been on. She emphasizes that her fashion choices are a form of storytelling, helping her capture and honor the chapters of her life. Beyond her past with Liam, Miley has been on a personal transformation journey, organizing her life, her relationships, and even curating new music that reflects her emotional growth. These mementos, including the dress, are a reminder of the beautiful moments that shape a life, and Miley's choice to preserve them shows a deep respect for her personal history. It's a glimpse into how she celebrates her past while continuing to grow and evolve. If you want the full story, including all the emotional details, letters, and other keepsakes Miley has saved from her life and career, check out the full video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Rudy Johnson, former NFL star running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, has died at the age of 45. Reports confirm that he was found dead in Florida in the early hours of Tuesday, September 23rd, and the cause of death has been reported as suicide. The heartbreaking news sent shockwaves across the sports world, with teammates, fans, and even rivals pouring out tributes for a man who was not only a powerful runner on the field, but a beloved figure off it. Johnson's sudden passing has left many struggling to process how such a tough, resilient athlete who once seemed unstoppable between the lines of scrimmage could fall to something so devastating behind closed doors. For those who watched him play, the name Rudy Johnson brings back memories of bruising runs, relentless effort, and a 3-year stretch where he was one of the most dependable backs in all of football. But today, his story is being retold in a very different way, one filled with grief, remembrance, and painful questions about life after the NFL. Almost immediately after news of his death broke, the Cincinnati Bengals released a statement honoring their former star. The team described him as dependable, productive, and widely loved in the locker room. They recalled how his steady presence carried the offense through some of its best years in the mid-2000s. Bengals president Mike Brown added that everyone who knew Rudy saw him not just as a teammate, but as a dear friend. That sentiment was echoed across social media, where players and fans alike expressed their heartbreak. Former teammate Chad Ochocinco Johnson posted a simple but powerful tribute, R.I.P. Rudy. Others called him one of their all-time favorite Bengals, while some admitted they were in shock and couldn't believe the news. Fans wrote about how he was their childhood hero, the player they imitated in the backyard, the jersey they wore proudly on Sundays. And then there were those who admitted something darker, that his death by suicide forced them to confront the painful reality of what so many athletes struggle with once the spotlight fades. To truly understand the magnitude of this loss, we need to rewind to the beginning of Rudy Johnson's story. Born on October 1st, 1979 in Ittrick, Virginia, he grew up in a small town with big dreams. At Thomas Dale High School, Johnson was already a local legend. Coaches recall how he made the game look easy, cutting through defenders with a power and balance that seemed unfair at that level. His dominance on the field led him first to Butler Community College, where he continued to shine, and then to Auburn University in the year 2000. That single season at Auburn became the stuff of legend. Johnson rushed for over 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns, earning SEC Player of the Year honors. In one short season, he etched his name in Auburn history, giving Tiger fans memories they still cherish today. His powerful running style, low pad level, and ability to break tackles made him a nightmare for defenses and a fan favorite instantly. The Cincinnati Bengals recognized his potential and drafted him in the 4th round of the 2001 NFL Draft. At first, Johnson sat behind Corey Dillon, another star running back. But when Dillon left, Rudy stepped into the spotlight and never looked back. From 2003 to 2006, Johnson became one of the league's most consistent and productive rushers. He put together 3 straight seasons with more than 1,300 rushing yards and double-digit touchdowns. In 2005, he set the Bengals' single-season rushing record with over 1,400 yards, a mark that still stands today. For Bengals fans, those years represented hope and excitement. With Carson Palmer at quarterback, Chad Johnson and T.J. Hushmanzadeh at wide receiver, and Rudy Johnson pounding the rock, Cincinnati finally had an offense that could compete with anyone. And Rudy wasn't just about stats. He was about effort, toughness, and reliability. Coaches praised his work ethic, his refusal to go down on first contact, and his ability to control the pace of the game. But Rudy was more than just a football player. Off the field, he had a reputation for kindness and generosity. One of the most memorable stories about him comes from a fan interaction in 2005. A visually impaired young Bengals fan named Katherine Hivner came to the practice field. Instead of just signing an autograph or posing for a picture, Rudy spent nearly an hour with her, walking her through positions on the field, explaining each role so she could see the game in her mind. He didn't make it about himself. He made it about her understanding and feeling connected to the sport she loved. That kind of compassion left an impression on everyone who witnessed it. Rudy Johnson's career wound down with a final season in Detroit in 2008. By the time he retired, his NFL career totals included nearly 6,000 rushing yards and 49 touchdowns, ranking him 4th all-time on the Bengals rushing list. But numbers don't tell the whole story. To the Cincinnati community, he was a hero. To his high school and hometown in Virginia, he was living proof that dreams could come true. And to his teammates, he was family. Now, in the wake of his death, we're left with painful questions. Reports suggest that Johnson had been struggling with mental health issues and may have shown signs of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a degenerative brain condition linked to repeated head trauma. CTE has been a growing concern in football, with tragic cases like Junior Seau and many others raising alarms about what the game does to the minds and lives of their players long after retirement. The fact that Rudy's death is being reported as suicide has only intensified this conversation. Fans and commentators are asking, how many more players have to suffer in silence before more is done to protect them? How many more young men need to die too soon because the game they loved took too much from them?
On Reddit threads and social platforms, some fans admitted guilt, saying they cheered every hit and every bruising run without realizing the long-term consequences. Others pointed out how little support many retired athletes receive once the spotlight fades. And yet, despite the tragedy, Rudy Johnson's legacy is shining brighter than ever. His high school community in Virginia recently inducted him into their Sports Hall of Fame. Though he couldn't attend in person, he left a heartfelt message. Dream big, shoot for the stars, stay focused, never give up. Those words, now replayed with heartbreaking poignancy, capture the spirit of who he was, a man who believed in chasing dreams and inspiring others to do the same. Friends and coaches from his hometown describe him as always smiling, always uplifting, the kind of person who made those around him better. That's the memory his community will hold on to even as they grieve. In Cincinnati, fans are remembering the roar of the crowd when he broke free for a first down, the way he carried defenders on his back, and the chants of "Rudy, Rudy" echoing through Paul Brown Stadium. Those chants will now live on as a tribute to a player gone too soon. Rudy Johnson's death is more than a headline. It's a reminder that behind the highlights and the glory, athletes are human. They carry burdens we don't always see. And while fans will remember him as the hard-running back who gave everything on the field, those closest to him want him remembered for his heart, his kindness, and his ability to inspire. As the NFL community processes this devastating loss, the call for more mental health support, more awareness, and more compassion for retired athletes grows louder. Rudy's story is tragic, but perhaps it can also be a turning point, a chance for the game to evolve, not just in how it entertains fans, but in how it protects those who play it. For now, we honor his memory. Rudy Johnson gone at 45, but never forgotten by the fans, teammates, and communities whose lives he touched. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco have officially tied the knot in a breathtaking ceremony that has captured the hearts of fans and celebrities alike. On Saturday, September 27th, 2025, the couple exchanged vows in a private yet star-studded wedding held at Seacrest Nursery in Santa Barbara, California. The intimate affair was attended by approximately 170 guests, including A-list celebrities such as Taylor Swift, Paris Hilton, and Gomez's Only Murders in the Building co-stars Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Paul Rudd. Gomez, 33, and Blanco, 37, both wore custom Ralph Lauren ensembles for the occasion. Gomez donned a halter-neck satin gown adorned with floral details and an open back, complemented by a bouquet of white lilies of the valley. Blanco matched in a classic black tuxedo. Later in the evening, Gomez changed into a second wedding dress, a sheer lace gown with a flowing veil, which Blanco described as a real-life Disney princess moment. The couple's relationship began in 2023, and they got engaged in December 2024. Their wedding was preceded by separate pre-wedding parties in Cabo and Las Vegas. Gomez announced the marriage on Instagram with the caption, "White 9.2725 white," sharing photos of their ceremony and their wedding rings. Blanco commented on her post, "My wife in real life," expressing his joy and affection. The wedding was a culmination of a deep and supportive relationship between Gomez and Blanco, marked by mutual admiration and a desire to build each other up. Their romance evolved from a long-standing friendship and music collaboration, culminating in their marriage. For more exclusive updates on celebrity weddings and news, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Golfer Jake Knapp's world has been shattered by a tragedy no one saw coming. His girlfriend, McKenna White, just 28 years old, has died suddenly, leaving behind family, friends, and a heartbroken sports community still trying to make sense of the devastating news. The story of her passing has gripped fans across the globe, not just because of her connection to one of golf's rising stars, but because of who she was, a vibrant, intelligent, and deeply loved young woman whose life ended far too soon. Today, we're taking a closer look at what happened, the life she lived, the love she shared with Jake Knapp, and the waves of shock and grief her death has sent through the golfing world and beyond. McKenna White was not a household name in the sense that professional athletes or entertainers often are. But to those who knew her, she was unforgettable. She had a big presence, a laugh that filled the room, and an energy that seemed to lift people up whenever she was around. At just 28 years old, she had already built an impressive life for herself, one that combined academic success, career drive, and an adventurous spirit that took her around the world. She was the type of person who seemed to pack more living in her short years than many do in a lifetime. Born and raised in Ottawa, Canada, she was grounded by her family roots, but her ambitions and curiosity pushed her far beyond the familiar streets of home. She went on to attend McMaster University, graduating in 2019 with a degree that combined communications and software engineering, a unique pairing that reflected her ability to bridge creativity and technical skill. After university, she pursued a career in medical and surgical sales, carving out a path in a competitive industry while still staying true to her lively, adventurous nature. But for all her accomplishments, it was her personality that stood out most. Friends described her as someone with a heart that overflowed with love. She had two beloved dogs, Nellie and Fergie, who were like her children, and she was the type of friend who remembered birthdays, sent messages of encouragement, and made even the most ordinary moments fun. She lived with a mix of love, laughter, and just enough chaos to keep life interesting. She was always traveling, always moving, always making memories. To the people close to her, it seemed like she had an endless amount of energy, an ability to do it all. And yet, behind that bright smile, there were struggles she carried privately. Struggles that now, in the wake of her passing, feel haunting. Her relationship with professional golfer Jake Knapp added another dimension to her story. The two began dating in August 2023, though they kept their romance private at first. It wasn't until Jake's breakout moment on the PGA Tour, his victory at the Mexico Open, that the relationship became public. Cameras caught their celebrations, and suddenly, the world saw McKenna not just as Jake's girlfriend, but as his partner, his supporter, the person cheering him on through the highs and lows of professional golf. From then on, she was a familiar face at tournaments. She was there when Jake carded his jaw-dropping, bogey-free 59 at the Cognizant Classic in 2025, one of those historic sports moments that couples remember forever. She walked the fairways with him, stood by the ropes, and was often the first to hug him after big rounds. The way she and Jake looked at each other spoke volumes. They shared a chemistry that was easy to see, playful, loving, and deeply supportive. One of her last posts on social media captured this perfectly. On August 11th, just weeks before her sudden passing, she shared a photo of the two of them walking together on a golf course. Her caption read, "Year 2 of first fairway hugs and watching you live out your dreams. Forever grateful to be on this walk with you. Here's to many, many, many more. I love you, sweet boy. You make it so easy to be proud." Jake replied simply with heart emojis, a quiet, understated, but deeply meaningful response. No one could have guessed that within weeks, those words would take on such a tragic weight, becoming one of the last public tributes of their love. Behind the happy images, however, McKenna had been dealing with serious health challenges. Earlier this year, she revealed through social media that she was suffering from tachycardia, a condition where the heart beats abnormally fast. She spoke openly about wearing a Holter monitor, a medical device that tracks heart rhythms, and undergoing treatments to address her condition. In April and June, she shared updates about living with a heart defect, even referencing her experience at a cardiac surgery conference while managing her own monitoring equipment. Looking back, these details feel chilling. At the time, her openness came across as brave, almost casual, the way someone might share a personal struggle to connect with others. But now, in hindsight, fans and loved ones are left wondering whether these heart issues played a role in her untimely death. Her passing was first announced in a heartbreaking message on her own Instagram page, posted by a close friend. The tribute described her as one of a kind, someone whose love, energy, and joy touched everyone she met. It acknowledged the profound pain of losing her at such a young age and made it clear that she would be deeply missed, not just from Jake, but from her father, her family, her friends, and of course, her dogs. The announcement didn't include a cause of death, and to this day, that remains undisclosed. It is this lack of clarity that has fueled speculation, though those closest to her have asked for privacy and respect during this difficult time. Jake Knapp eventually broke his silence, and his words cut straight to the heart. He admitted that it was a tough reality to comprehend, saying that McKenna was such a thoughtful, selfless person who always put others before herself. He remembered the unforgettable memories they shared, describing her fun, outgoing energy as something that will be missed by everyone. He thanked people for their support, but also emphasized the need for space and privacy, both for himself and for McKenna's family as they grieve. His statement was raw, restrained, but filled with the type of love and pain that only comes when someone has lost their closest companion. The reaction to her death has been overwhelming. Friends, colleagues, and figures in the golfing community have all expressed their grief. Sports reporters remembered her as someone whose presence brightened every tournament. Podcasters described her as a light, someone who brought joy and warmth wherever she went. Even those who only knew her through Jake's rise in the golf felt the impact of her loss. She had become part of his story, part of his journey, and in turn, she had become part of the golfing community. The sadness was palpable. The timing of her death, coinciding with the Ryder Cup in New York, added another layer. He was on the sidelines during one of golf's grandest stages, now dealing with a loss that no career achievement could ever compare to. For a rising star who had finally broken through on the PGA Tour, this tragedy was a cruel reminder of how quickly life can change. In the same year he experienced the highest highs of his professional life, he has now faced the lowest low imaginable. The tributes to McKenna also highlighted her charitable spirit. In her memory, friends encouraged donations to the Bruyere Brain Health and Memory Clinic and the Griffin Bell Endowment Fund. These were causes close to her family, especially as her mother had battled Alzheimer's disease. It was a reminder that even in her absence, her impact could continue through support for research, healthcare, and families dealing with similar struggles. Her legacy is now being shaped not just by the memories she created, but by the causes her loved ones hope to carry forward in her name. For fans, the unanswered questions remain. What exactly caused McKenna's sudden death? Was it related to her heart condition? Was it something unexpected, unrelated that no one could have predicted? Until official details are shared, speculation will continue. But what matters most to those closest to her is the fact that she's gone. A vibrant, loving young woman whose life intertwined with one of golf's rising stars has been lost, and no explanation can soften that pain. As people reflect on her life, one theme comes up again and again. McKenna lived fully. She was adventurous, unafraid to travel, unafraid to love, unafraid to push herself. She supported Jake in his dreams while also building her own path. She made people feel special, whether they were close friends or new acquaintances. And she left an impression that will not fade. In a world that often feels too fast and too impersonal, she was someone who connected, who cared, who made time for others. That is the legacy that those who loved her will hold on to. And for Jake Knapp, this tragedy will undoubtedly shape the next chapter of his career and his life. Athletes are often seen as invincible, focused only on their sport, but they are human. They experience the same joys and heartbreaks as everyone else. For Jake, this loss is bigger than golf, bigger than any tournament, bigger than any trophy. It is the loss of the person who shared his victories, comforted him in defeat, and walked with him through the ups and downs of the last 2 years. The love they shared was real, and its absence will be felt every day.
The story of McKenna White is a tragic reminder of life's fragility, but also of its beauty. She may be gone, but the memories she created, the love she shared, and the energy she brought into the world will live on. Her death has left many heartbroken, but her life has left them grateful for having known her, even for a short time.
Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox's baby girl is already stealing the spotlight, and the internet can't get enough. The latest photo making waves shows their daughter rocking a look that fans are calling effortlessly cool, a tiny star with undeniable presence. She's only months old, yet the little one has already been dubbed the next generation rocker, and the symbolism couldn't be stronger. But to really understand the weight of this moment, we need to go back and unpack the story that led us here. A roller coaster romance, a storm of drama, moments of heartbreak, and now a baby who seems to be rewriting the narrative of two of Hollywood's most talked about stars. Megan Fox, the Hollywood actress who rose to fame with her breakout role in Transformers, has long been known as both a sex symbol and a fiercely independent woman. She's no stranger to media frenzy, whether it was her on-screen performances, her candid interviews where she challenged industry norms, or her often turbulent personal life. Before Machine Gun Kelly ever entered the picture, Megan was married to actor Brian Austin Green, with whom she shares 3 sons. That marriage lasted nearly a decade, and for a while, it seemed solid. But as often happens in Hollywood, things shifted, and by the late 2010s, cracks began to show. Enter Machine Gun Kelly, born Colson Baker, a rapper and rocker who clawed his way from Cleveland's underground scene into mainstream music. MGK made a name for himself with his rapid-fire lyrics, his rebellious image, and his constant push against the boundaries of rap and rock. By the late 2010s, he was no stranger to controversy, from high-profile feuds with Eminem to public battles with addiction. But in 2020, everything changed when he crossed paths with Megan Fox on the set of the movie Midnight in the Switchgrass. It was an instant spark, the kind of chemistry that tabloids live for. Megan would later describe it as meeting her twin flame, an almost cosmic connection that couldn't be ignored. The timing was dramatic. Megan was separating from Brian Austin Green, and MGK was in the midst of redefining his career. Their romance wasn't subtle either. From the beginning, they leaned into the spotlight, appearing in coordinated, edgy outfits, sharing PDA-packed red carpet moments, and giving quotes that were as poetic as they were controversial. Their relationship quickly became one of the most talked about in Hollywood. Fans were mesmerized by their goth glam aesthetic, their tattoos, their blood-drinking rituals. Yes, Megan confirmed they shared small vials of each other's blood in a symbolic act of union. Whether you thought it was romantic or unsettling, one thing was clear. They weren't trying to be normal. They wanted to be epic, larger than life, and unapologetically themselves. By January 2022, MGK proposed in Puerto Rico under a banyan tree, the very spot where they first fell in love. The ring was custom designed with both of their birthstones, emerald and diamond, set with thorns, so that, as MGK himself admitted, it would hurt if Megan tried to take it off. The engagement video went viral, with Megan declaring that they celebrated by drinking each other's blood. It was wild, theatrical, and completely on brand for them. But behind the theatrics, their love story wasn't always smooth. By 2023 and 2024, rumors of tension began to circulate. Megan deleted photos of MGK from her Instagram, fans speculated about infidelity, and tabloids reported that the couple had entered therapy. By March 2024, Megan confirmed the engagement was off. It was a shocking turn for fans who had seen them as inseparable, though perhaps not surprising given the volatility of their relationship. And yet, even as their romance cooled, fate had other plans. Later in 2024, Megan announced she was pregnant. This wasn't just any announcement. It came with emotional depth, as Megan revealed they had previously suffered a miscarriage. That heartbreak weighed heavily on both of them, with MGK even dedicating music to the loss during one of his performances. For fans, the pregnancy was both bittersweet and deeply moving, a sign that despite everything, their bond still carried life forward. Fast forward to early 2025, when their daughter arrived. Machine Gun Kelly shared a tender birth announcement, calling her their celestial seed. At first, fans thought that was her actual name, sparking confusion across social media. Later, he clarified that it was more of a poetic phrase than a legal name. Eventually, the couple revealed her true name, Saga Blade Fox Baker, a name as bold and dramatic as their parents, equal parts mystical and powerful, instantly memorable. Now, months later, the new photo of baby Saga is making headlines. In it, she sits with a calm but curious expression, and though she's just a baby, fans say she radiates star power. She's not just Megan's daughter, not just MGK's baby, she's become a symbol of their resilience, their ability to evolve, and their unbreakable connection even after romance gave way to co-parenting. Social media exploded with comments like, "She's already a rock legend in the making, and that baby has star DNA." Some joked that Saga will be playing guitar before she can walk. Others noted how Megan's striking features are already visible in her little face, and MGK's fans proudly claimed her as the next generation of punk. This single snapshot isn't just a cute baby photo, it's a cultural moment. It signals a shift. Megan and MGK, once defined by their intense, almost chaotic love affair, are now being redefined by parenthood. The world is watching them navigate this new reality. No longer fiancés, not officially back together, but undeniably bound by their daughter. Reports suggest MGK sometimes stays at Megan's home to be close to Saga, and both of them have committed to co-parenting with love and stability. What makes it even more compelling is the duality of their image. Megan is the Hollywood bombshell, the actress who's faced sexism, criticism, and scrutiny, yet continues to command attention. MGK is the outsider turned rock star, the rebel who reinvented himself in front of our eyes. And now Saga, their daughter, represents something softer, something grounding, something both of them needed at this stage in their life. Fans are already imagining her future. Will she grow up surrounded by guitars and tour buses, or will Megan steer her to a quieter childhood, away from the spotlight? Will she inherit her mother's striking beauty, her father's creative fire, or both? Whatever the case, the fascination is real, and this baby is already a celebrity in her own right, without ever asking for it. For now, Saga's photo is just one image, but it tells 1,000 stories. It tells of a relationship that burned fast and bright, of love that was tested, of loss that was endured, and a new beginning that feels hopeful. It shows us that even the most dramatic Hollywood romances can evolve into something deeper, a commitment to raising a child together, even if the fairy tale engagement didn't last. And for Megan Fox and MGK, this may be the most authentic chapter yet. So as that little girl sits in her baby chair, dressed simply, clutching her toy, she's already rewriting the headlines, not as the child of scandal, but as the tiny rocker whose existence brings out the best in two people who have lived loudly, loved fiercely, and learned painfully. The world will be watching as she grows, and if this photo is any indication, she's destined to shine just as brightly as her parents. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.
Shaun Alexander, the former NFL MVP and Seattle Seahawks legend, has joyfully announced that he and his wife Valerie are expecting their 14th child. The heartwarming revelation came during a lively appearance on the Up and Adams show on September 25, 2025, where Shaun shared the exciting news with his trademark enthusiasm. The couple, who tied the knot in 2002, already shares a bustling household with 13 children, 10 daughters and 3 sons, making this newest addition a testament to their enduring commitment to family. Their children, in order of birth, are Heaven, born in 2003, Trinity, Eden, Joseph, Justice, Temple, Honor, Jedediah, Torah, who tragically passed away at 2 months old in 2017, Eternity, Hosanna, Hope, and Judea. The Alexanders are a family deeply rooted in faith, love, and an active lifestyle that keeps their household vibrant and dynamic. Shaun, a devout Christian, has often spoken about how his faith guides every aspect of his life, from his illustrious NFL career to his role as a husband and father. Valerie, his partner in both life and parenting, shares this commitment, bringing her own energy and dedication to their family.
Together, they've created a nurturing environment where their children are encouraged to pursue their passions. Several of their kids have already shown a flair for athletics, following in their father's footsteps. Joseph, Justice, and Jedediah have taken an interest in football, with Joseph already making waves in local youth leagues. Meanwhile, daughters Temple and Honor have carved out their own paths in basketball and track, showcasing the family's athletic versatility. Valerie, a hands-on mom, plays an integral role in their children's activities, often stepping in as a coach for their sports teams and cheering them on from the sidelines. Sean, who remains a beloved figure in the Seattle community and beyond, frequently shares glimpses of their family life on social media. From birthday celebrations to game days, his posts highlight the joy, chaos, and love that define the Alexander household. He often captions these moments with reflections on fatherhood, calling it his greatest title and passion. For Sean, being a father surpasses even his remarkable achievements on the football field, including his 2005 NFL MVP award. His dedication to his family resonates with fans, who admire the way he balances his public persona with his private responsibilities. The announcement of baby number 14 has sparked a wave of excitement and admiration across social media and sports media outlets. Fans have flooded Sean's posts with messages of congratulations, praising the couple's unwavering commitment to their family and their ability to manage such a large household with grace. Media outlets have highlighted the Alexanders story as an inspiring example of love, faith, and resilience. Some have drawn comparisons to other large celebrity families, noting how the Alexanders' openness about their journey sets them apart. The couple has chosen to keep details about the upcoming baby private for now, including the due date and gender, leaving fans eagerly awaiting further updates. This milestone places Sean Alexander in a unique tie with fellow former NFL player Antonio Cromartie, who also has 14 children, surpassing former quarterback Philip Rivers' 10. The comparison has sparked lighthearted discussions among sports fans, with some joking about an NFL dad leaderboard. However, for Sean, the focus remains on the joy of welcoming another child rather than any competitive tally. His storied NFL career, which spanned from 2000 to 2008, saw him cement his legacy as one of the league's premier running backs. His standout 2005 season, where he rushed for 1,880 yards and scored 27 touchdowns, earned him the NFL MVP award and solidified his place in Seattle Seahawks history. To this day, he remains the Seattle Seahawks' all-time leading rusher and ranks 18th in NFL history with 112 career touchdowns. Currently, Sean is among the 128 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, a nod to his enduring impact on the sport. Beyond his athletic achievements, Sean Alexander has become a role model for balancing fame with family life. He and Valerie have built a legacy that extends far beyond the gridiron, rooted in their shared values of faith, community, and togetherness. Their home is a hub of activity, with the couple prioritizing quality time with their children despite their busy schedules. Whether it's attending school events, coaching sports, or simply gathering for family dinners, the Alexanders exemplify a hands-on approach to parenting. Sean has often spoken about the lessons he's learned from fatherhood, including patience, sacrifice, and the importance of leading by example. Valerie, equally instrumental in their family's success, brings her own perspective, often sharing how their faith helps them navigate the challenges of raising a large family in the public eye. The couple's journey hasn't been without its challenges. The loss of their daughter Tora in 2017 was a heartbreaking moment for the family, and Sean has spoken candidly about how their faith and community support helped them through that difficult time. Their resilience and ability to find joy amidst sorrow have only deepened their bond and inspired those around them. The announcement of their 14th child is a celebration of that resilience, a reminder of their belief in the beauty of life and family. As the Alexanders prepare to welcome their newest member, their story continues to captivate and inspire. Fans and followers admire not only Sean's athletic legacy, but also the couple's dedication to raising a large, loving family grounded in faith and purpose. Their journey serves as a powerful reminder that family, at its core, is about connection, support, and unwavering love, no matter the size.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more heartwarming celebrity updates just like this. Follow along for the latest on the Alexanders and other inspiring stories from the world of sports and beyond.
Aaron Bates's husband, Chad Payne, has opened up in one of the most emotional and heartbreaking updates yet, sharing details of his wife's ongoing health battle that has left fans, friends, and even doctors shaken. Erin, best known for her role on the reality series Bringing Up Bates, has been facing a health crisis since the birth of her seventh child, Henry Blythe, just weeks ago. What should have been one of the happiest moments in their lives has instead turned into a season of deep uncertainty and emotional struggle. And now, Chad is pulling back the curtain on just how difficult the journey has been. In his update, Chad admitted that Erin still cannot use her right leg, and the most concerning part is that doctors remain completely baffled. They don't have an explanation. They don't have an answer. For a family that has always leaned on faith and optimism, this moment has been described as one of the darkest valleys they've ever walked through. Chad revealed that the past 3 weeks have felt like a whirlwind, filled with fear, confusion, and desperate prayers. He described nights spent by Erin's side in the hospital, holding her hand and hoping that the next test, the next scan, or the next round of treatments would bring some kind of clarity, some sign of improvement. But instead, the silence of the unknown has weighed heavy on their hearts. For context, Erin's health complications began shortly after delivering baby Henry on August 25th. What began as a seemingly routine postpartum recovery quickly spiraled into a life-threatening ordeal. Erin developed a severe urinary tract infection, which progressed into a kidney infection and then escalated into septic shock, a condition where the body's response to infection causes organs to shut down. On top of that, she suffered a prolonged and frightening seizure, leaving her medical team scrambling to stabilize her condition. Erin was placed in intensive care while baby Henry spent more than 2 weeks in the neonatal unit. For weeks, Chad juggled the impossible, supporting his wife, caring for his newborn in critical care, and trying to remain strong for their other 6 children at home. The family's faith has always been central to their story, and even in the midst of this storm, Chad spoke about how they've clung to prayer. He said that they've felt the support of thousands of people lifting Erin up in prayer, and he credited those prayers with giving them the strength to keep going. Still, his voice cracked as he admitted the truth. There are no clear answers yet. Erin has not regained the ability to use her right leg, and while doctors remain hopeful, the mystery surrounding her condition has left the family unsettled. For viewers and fans, it's difficult to comprehend how someone who has always been so vibrant, full of life, and surrounded by family could suddenly find herself in such a fragile state. Chad shared that watching Erin in pain has been one of the most devastating experiences of his life. In one of the most poignant updates, he recalled a moment when their young daughter, Brooklyn, wrote a letter to her mom. In the letter, the little girl told Erin how much she loved her, how she was praying for her, and how she knew her mom loved her back. Chad read those words aloud while Erin lay in her hospital bed, tears streaming down her face. A moment that reminded everyone just how deeply this crisis has impacted the family. He confessed that seeing his wife's spirit remain strong, even while her body has been weakened, has been both heartbreaking and inspiring. Erin has continued to sing and worship through her pain, a testament to her resilience and her faith, even when her future feels uncertain. Fans have been flooding the family's social media with messages of love, support, and prayers. Some have shared their own stories of unexplained illnesses and medical mysteries, expressing empathy for the Payne family's frustration. Others have speculated about possible causes for Erin's condition. Could it be nerve damage from childbirth, a stroke, a rare autoimmune reaction? Some have pointed out Erin's history of blood clotting complications and miscarriages, suggesting that this could play a role. While the family hasn't confirmed any diagnosis, the speculation highlights just how baffling this case has become. Erin's return home earlier this month was a milestone, but not the kind of joyful homecoming most new mothers experience. Instead of carrying her newborn in her arms and embracing a season of bonding, she came home still battling weakness, still unable to walk on her own, and still facing an uphill climb toward recovery. Yet, Erin and Chad made it clear that they are choosing gratitude. Erin posted that while they don't have all the answers yet, she is thankful simply to be back with her family, to hold her baby, and to be surrounded by the people she loves. For the Paynes, gratitude has become their anchor, even in uncertainty. The story of Erin Bates Payne is not just one of illness. It's a story of resilience, faith, and community. Erin, who has always been known as a joyful and nurturing presence, is now in a position where she must accept help, lean on others, and fight through pain and mystery. Her husband's emotional updates have given fans a raw, unfiltered glimpse into the reality of living through a medical crisis that has no clear path forward. Chad has admitted that at times he has felt broken, overwhelmed, and unsure of how to navigate this season, but he continues to put his trust in faith, in family, and in the hope that healing will come. For longtime fans of Bringing Up Bates, this story is especially gut-wrenching. Erin, who has always been portrayed as one of the most gentle and strong-willed members of the family, a devoted mother who has embraced the challenges of raising a large family with grace, to see her sidelined in this way, unable to walk and uncertain about the future, is a reminder that no one, not even those who seem larger than life on reality television, is immune to the fragility of health. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks stretch into months, all eyes remain on the Paynes. Will Erin regain the use of her leg? Will doctors ever find the cause of her mysterious symptoms? Can this young family of 9 settle into a new normal, or will their lives continue to be defined by uncertainty? These are the questions that linger, and for now, the answers remain just out of reach. But one thing is certain: Erin's story has touched thousands of people, many of whom see in her the reflection of their own battles, their own unanswered medical questions, their own moments of weakness and strength. And in that way, her struggle has become something larger than herself. It has become a testimony of perseverance. The journey is far from over, and the Payne family knows that the road ahead may be long. But Chad has promised to keep sharing updates, to keep letting the world into their story, and to keep holding on to hope. For now, the family asks for one thing above all: continued prayer, continued love, and continued support as Erin fights to heal. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.